Blackrick, today in Alden, speaking with Jack Findlay, the chairman of the Veterans Memorial of Alden Committee and the president of the Alden Volunteers. Jack, tell me about this Veterans Memorial that has been recently put in Alden.
Well, I'm pleased to tell you, Abigail, that this is the work of many people. When I addressed the folks that came out on May 29th for the dedication, the little blurb I wrote in the memorial booklet was, "It takes a village." This is the work of many people who jumped through more than a single bunch of hoops to get this done. I'm certainly proud of them, and I'm proud of what you can see behind us here.
And there's a lot to it. Tell me about some of the features we see here.
Well, of course, the basic message is the statement of to whom the memorial is dedicated, of folks who served their country, state, and community with courage and dedication and sacrifice in war and in peace. And our purpose is the bottom line. They will not be forgotten, and this is our way of doing that.
And that's the bottom line for this whole mission.
It is. What we tried to do here was to use a dramatic contrast. The exterior of the memorial is done in block and cement. Each of the honor pillars, however, carries the seal or insignia of one of the 5 military forces. The last one on our far left is dedicated to first responders, to law enforcement, to fire and rescue personnel, and to emergency medical staff. Our committee was secure in wanting this to embrace as many people as we can. And if, at the risk of stretching the visual here, the outstretched arms of the memorial are to embrace all who have served. And we were very specific about making sure that first responders were included. A local concern called Pro Image Design did all of the work for us that you see both on the honor pillars and in on this the major portion here. I draw your attention to this Air Force 130 Hercules. It is a transport plane. However, when the flares that you see already engaged emerge from the Hercules, it says it's an angel flight. And what that means is there are military deceased aboard. It's a very emotional thing. There were some Air Force people in the honor guard from the Elk Rapids AMVETS who were here for the dedication. The Air Force men had tears in their eyes when they saw that we'd included an angel flight as part of the representation of the kind of things that our military personnel had done. So we have the Army up here. This is in Iraq. There are people of color involved, and we tried to be as inclusive as we possibly could be. This is the Traverse City Air Force, Coast Guard station, photographed by John Russell, who has been shooting for them. This is shooting photographs, not anything else, for 40 years. He's done tremendously good work, and I think you use some at MI Live as well. On the other side, one of our 5 committee members was a fellow who served in the Navy for 20 years. This is from his personal collection of Navy photographs. The Mount Suribachi, the famous, iconic almost, Mount Suribachi photograph is included here as part of the battle that waged for multiple weeks on the island of Iwo Jima. And last but hardly least is a picture of both men and women first responders on the site at 9/11, and they are in this photograph pulling people alive out of the rubble. So this, you talk about protecting life, these folks do it at risk to themselves.
Absolutely. It truly represents that all of these pillars have an important impact on keeping our country safe, and that we couldn't do it without any of them missing.
That's exactly right.
And so it's just wonderful. I'm so happy to see what you guys have done. And how was this all funded?
Well, primarily by the Alden Volunteer Golf tournaments that we've run. We used proceeds from 4 of them. There was a grant from the Hildorf Foundation, and the rest of it was individual donations.
That's great. And so the community has really gotten behind this and is happy to see it here in Alden. This is a huge facet, that the only one truly like it in all of the Michigan.
Well, from our research, no one has done what we have done here. I'd also call your attention, Abigail, and the audiences, to the dedication itself. We used a bright black here. As you can see, it's reflective. And these have been cut in, and this is gold leaf. And once again, this is the whole thing about the contrast. We're just very happy. Local outfit Pro Image, as I mentioned earlier, did this work, and we were thrilled with the product.
And Jack, is there any need for future volunteers to join the Alden Volunteers to help out in projects like this? And if so, is there a phone number that they can call to get started and be a part of it?
Let me start at the top, 231-331-6424. That's my home number, and it's the official number with the IRS for the Alden Volunteers.
Perfect. Thank you, Jack, so much.
Thank you, Abigail.
In Alden, I'm Abigail Blackrick with My News 26.